So I think we really heard enough about the mainstream side of astrology and the mainstream definition of what an Aries Sun actually means, or what the archetypal energy of Aries actually means. So if you're bored by that and you don't understand how you can actually apply that into yourself and into your daily life, you need to stay tuned and go with me way beyond the mainstream astrology, and we are gonna go dive deep into what the actual Aries energy represents within ourselves. And if you want to go even deeper, way beyond that, then you need to stay until the end, because I've got something really exciting, and this is really gonna transform all of your knowledge that you have about the Aries energy and how you can actually relate to that, especially if you're an Aries Sun or Aries rising. So stay with me until the end. And also, if you are new here, welcome. I'm Anna and I'm an evolutionary astrologer, and I am here to guide you towards living a more fulfilled life through using astrology and making it practical for you, so that you can actually apply it into your daily life and understand yourself better. And I really love to view astrology through the lens of psychology and actually from a evolutionary standpoint. So if you're interested to know more about that, and if you want to really dive deep with me into astrology, then you are welcome to subscribe and join my amazing community. But now we are gonna talk about what the Aries energy actually stands for within our charts. So first of all, as usual, grab yourself a coffee or drink of your choice, and now let's dive deep into the Aries archetype. Firstly, I really want to talk about the energy that Aries is embodying and few general points about this sign. So as you probably know, Aries is the first zodiac sign, and it is a fire element, and it's also a cardinal sign. So what does it actually mean? So fire signs are very expressive, and they have the urge to create and are strongly connected to their life force energy. So they really have a connection to the creative center of their bodies. And cardinal sign means that it's actually the sign that starts things and that initiates things. So this is the energy of new beginnings. When you would like an example from our beautiful Mother Nature, this will be considered to be the springtime, because there everything starts to wake up, to get back to life after a long winter season, and this is also considered the energy of Aries. So how does it actually apply into your life? Well, this is gonna be the life area where you are more daring, where you are not afraid to take the first step, and where you don't like to think too much about things, and where you really like to go head first and you think later. Sometimes it can become the area of your life where you are a bit reckless, but actually it is a very strong energy that always drives you forward, and where you really like to be the first. Also, the ruler of Aries is Mars, which is our urge to assert ourselves and to go after things that we are desiring, and also how we are gonna express our anger and generally our assertiveness. So this also gives you a bit of an idea about the Aries energy, and you definitely need to see where your Mars is at, because this is really gonna give you even more information about how your Mars and how your urge to actually go after the things that you are desiring is gonna show up. Now, what we also can say about Aries is that they really love to compete, and oftentimes this actually correlates with their childhood and the values that they got from their fathers most of the times, because fire signs are strongly influenced by their fathers or a father figure in early childhood. So this is really gonna be like your relationship to your father or a father figure is gonna really influence you in the early years, and later on we can see so many patterns that are showing up in our life that we got from a young age. But more on that at the end of the video. But generally, Aries energy is the life area where every single one of us has it somewhere in our charts. This is the life area where we are a little bit more daring and courageous and even pioneering, and where we have the courage to actually embark into the unknown. This is the area where we don't have to know all of the details. We just are trying to go after things, and we don't get discouraged if we actually fail. And for example, this can also show up the way you are dressing yourself. So if you're a little bit more courageous when it comes to the looks, to the clothes that you are wearing, this could mean that you actually are an Aries rising, because when you are always the first one to actually, change something about your look, and when you are not thinking too much about if you should cut your hair or not, but you just do it, and you just always are are the first one at something when it comes to your looks and to changing it, this really could show up even as that. So this is just to give you an idea of how this energy actually shows up in our daily lives. Because oftentimes we hear about Aries that this is some kind of the warrior archetype, and this is where we are a warrior, but nobody can actually relate to that because nowadays we are not forced to being a warrior most of the times. So I really want to give you some more real life examples that can actually be applied to everyone. And also it's important to know that this is gonna show us the life area where you really need to be proactive. You can't just sit around and wait for others, for example, to make a decision about this life area, and you could actually even get annoyed if people are taking too long about thinking about things when it comes to that life area in your life, and you just really need to go and do. And this could also mean that you have Aries there. What we also hear very often about Aries is that they sometimes can be very arrogant and impulsive and very impatient, and this is definitely true. But what helps with that is to actually direct the energy towards something that has a meaning and towards something that has a purpose. Because let me tell you, Aries are always gonna struggle with something in their lives. A challenge will come in that life area of yours, and you just need to pick your battle and direct and learn how to direct the energy constructively. Because other than that, your energy is just gonna lash out this life area where you are not taking proactive steps into directing it towards something that actually has a deeper meaning. And this is really, really important, especially for those of you who have their sun or any personal planets there, because then you are gonna be feeling that energy even stronger within your own consciousness. And so the downfall and the shadow of this placement or of this energy can be that you are gonna take everything very personally in that life area. Although I have to say that you're not gonna hold on to grudges, because Aries get offended very quickly, but they also forget the things very, very quickly. So they actually, you know, when they go about their day and they think about that a little bit more, they would see that, for example, this wasn't meant the way they took it, so they are gonna apologize themselves, for example, or just forget about it. But this could be the life area where you just react very, very quickly without actually thinking why you just got so mad. And so the energy sometimes tends to explode here, and then it very quickly gets back to normal. But people who have their sun or their moon in Aries can really get accused of being a little bit bossy, but the truth is that those people are actually just very highly self-motivated. They are not looking for the outside to motivate them, because they have such a strong energy within themselves that actually keeps them moving forward and that motivates them to achieve things, that they don't like to listen to anybody else for them to motivate them, and they don't like to be held back by others. They really like to just use the urge that they are having. This is a really kind of a primal even urge that they are getting within themselves, and they really like to really go with the energy and just direct it towards something constructive. And they oftentimes feel like that other people tend to actually hold them back because they don't like to consider your feelings and if you like the way they are approaching it or not. They just like to go and do it. So if you have a friend who always likes to be first at things and who really is annoyed when you start to think a little bit too much and when you are planning too much, and this is just the person or the friend of yours that actually just goes out there and does something, or just randomly, I don't know, organizes something, or without even probably organizing things, just says, okay, I'm just gonna go now on this trip. I didn't plan anything, but I'm just gonna go and see how it's gonna work out. Then probably you have an Aries friend, or your friend has a strong placement of Aries somewhere in their charts. And other thing that is a very, very big indicator of the Aries energy is that Aries thrives on challenge. So this is also gonna be the life area where you like to be challenged and where you are a bit competitive, where you really have this fiery spirit when it comes to the situations of this life area. But especially for Aries Sun, it's very important to develop that skill, to develop being courageous. And how can we develop being courageous? Well, this is only gonna develop if we are gonna be faced with challenges in our lives. That's why I feel like Aries don't have the most easiest life, because wherever they have their sun placed in, like in whatever life area, there's gonna be a life area that is, and even if you don't have any planets there, this is still gonna be a life area where you're gonna face challenges, because you actually need to overcome them to become more more courageous and to become more self-dependent in that life area, to become more self-expressed and just to go after your urges, to not consider and to not be held back by any family members, for example, or what people are telling you, because if you know deep down that this is the right thing for you to do, this is gonna be the life area where you need to take that courage and face your fears and go after the things that you are desiring. And now staying with the challenges that we need to be put through in order to develop being fearless and courageous, I really want to dive even deeper and see it from a even more psychological perspective. So the Aries archetype is really the pure energy of the will to exist, and it is very, very primal, and it teaches us courage. It represents the ability to overcome obstacles that are coming our way, and it's the part of ourselves that really does what it says that it's gonna do. So this is the part of ourselves where we don't like to be held back, where we are not gonna be making so many plans and then we are gonna be indecisive. This is where we say we are gonna do it and we go and do it. And this is a very, very good and amazing skill that we should develop within that life area. And so here the ultimate goal is to blend the energy of our desires with the energy of our actions, and they really should be aligned in that life area. So this is what Aries is teaching us, because every energy, every zodiac sign, when we look at it, is supposed to teach us something, and this is what actually Aries wants to teach you. And the Aries part of you will face challenges, because this archetype asks us to be courageous and we need to face obstacles in order to achieve that. So this part of your life will definitely overcome some hard challenges, and you will be asked to face your fears and literally step up. And this is not gonna be the life area where you can take the back seat and ask others to do the things for you. This is the life area where you need to be in charge and where you need to face your biggest fears. And now let's move to the shadow side of this archetype, because every energy has also its shadow. So when we think of that, we could simply just say the shadow side is when the energy of Aries is not directed into something constructive. It's gonna lash out on other people, and those are gonna be the people who are gonna often get very, very angry at things, and who are gonna offend people around them, and who are just gonna have this inner fire that is literally gonna burn them from the inside, and then they are gonna get very, very angry. So it's important to know that you are gonna have this fire somewhere, and you need to learn how to control it. So the question that we now ask ourselves is probably, where does that desire to initiate things and to always be first at things and to never settle and to pick the battles and to be courageous, where does that desire actually comes from? Well, here we come to the childhood of our Aryan friends. So we can see that Aries since childhood, they are always in a hurry, rushing into future and looking to accomplish things. They are literally always on the move. And this comes from their childhood, because they were trained to react that way, to react to accomplishments through their fathers or a father figure. And since Aries is a fire sign and they tend to be more shaped by their fathers, that's why they are always trying to get his approval. This really makes sense, because the father often tends to be very driven, or the Aries person or the Aries child will see their fathers as someone who is very driven and who always wants to accomplish things, but you still subconsciously want to get his approval on a subconscious level. So at the end, when we are not conscious of those patterns that actually happened in the childhood, we are just gonna be influenced by those patterns for the rest of our lives. And I hope that gives you the idea of how deep actually astrology goes, and how important it is to know your chart and what actually lies deep within that, so that you can actually work with those energies and to solve many of your problems that you have right now in your life. And so what I would really recommend is to see if you have an imbalance of this feminine and masculine energy within yourself, and then we are gonna be able to work towards integrating the part that you repressed. And so I would really recommend that you identify the pattern that I was talking about in your own childhood. So write down how you perceive your parents as a child and how you perceive them now, and also what beliefs did you form back then about the masculine and the feminine feminine energy. It really can be just few key points that you write out for yourself, but I think this is really gonna already show you what you subconsciously think about the feminine and the masculine energy. And then you need to ask yourself, is it possible that you are actually suppressing one of those energies within your own consciousness? If you do, how can you shift your beliefs and start to tap into that suppressed energy on daily basis? What structures and what habits and routines could lead towards integrating that part of yourself into your life? So this is gonna be your homework, guys, and I hope that you're able to see how deep astrology goes and how much it can resolve many of those problems that we are having right now and throughout our lives. And I really hope that this is really gonna give you more value into your life, and that you are gonna now be able to work with those energies and to analyze your childhood patterns and to work with them, and that you are gonna be able to apply it into your life. And I hope that I was able to help you in some kind of way. And if I did, and if you enjoyed this video, then please help me out a little bit and like my video and share it with other people who could also benefit from the knowledge that I am sharing. I will be doing a whole entire series about the rest of the zodiac signs, so stay tuned for that. And also, if you want to get the access to all of the perks of my videos, then subscribe and become a member. Definitely check it out. I'm gonna leave everything down in the description box. Also, if you're interested in getting a reading and working with me one-on-one, there will also be links for that down in the description box. So check it out. Thank you for watching and for being here with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.